Hey guys, my name is Simpzy. How you guys all doing? Welcome back to some more Medieval 2 Total War Definitive Edition here today on the channel. We have episode 6 of my Holy Roman Empire series. Here today we're going to continue our invasion of the British Isles. We're going to be declaring war upon Scotland. And we're also going to be continuing our war in the Far East against the Byzantines. So if you like the sound of that, feel free to leave the video a like, subscribe if you're new. Let me know feedback and suggestions in the comments. I'd really much appreciate it. We're coming dangerously close to hitting our long victory conditions as we've nearly got the allotted settlements, and then we will need to take Rome eventually at some point as well. But let's start the battle here and get stuck into the Scots. Now Prince Henry is going to take the command of this one. Hopefully he doesn't fuck it up because he hasn't been the most general that's seen the most action. He's actually left it to his brothers-in-law and other generals to really take the command and conquest in the west. We've got your Otto von Kessels, we've got your Mandorfs, who have won fantastic victories in and around Italy and France. But Henry is going to be the future emperor at some point. He's only a 3-star commander. Maybe against the Scots he can gain some renown and prestige for him. I think it's just because he's been only, 2-3-star command for the majority of the campaign. It's like, why would I not use, especially early on, the level 5 to 6 generals that sort of start off and then they even get like more skills as they go on up. So we're still dealing with our war on the Western Front, and then we've still got Emperor Heinrich in the Far East as well. In the last episode, we managed to defeat the English and take Constantinople. We had the Battle for London and in Constantinople, two huge ancient Roman major cities. So we're facing the Scots this time around. That seemed to be quite strong. I'm not even going to lie. They seem rather impressive. They've managed to... I think what's happened is they've taken York off the Brits, which has really stifled their growth in England. So they've sort of not done the best, the Brits, in this playthrough. Looking at the battle of this... looking at the battle map of this one, it's really thickly forest. Check out this road that goes all the way straight through the middle of the map. Oh my god, what a crazy road on in. As we're going to be facing the Scots, which don't have the best unit roster. Look, I like Scotland. Who doesn't like playing as Scotland in Medieval 2? But they don't have the best units, and particularly the late units as well. I don't know, I'm not the biggest fan of their pike units either, but sort of role-playing as Scotland. Freedom for Scotland, getting William Wallace in and stuff is always quite fun. So we're just waiting for the Scots to rally up. We might actually have to march here soon. Now, infantry-wise, it does not look good with this army build. We've got a bunch of archers, and however, we do have a bunch of cavalry, which will be able to swing the tide in our favour, but not the best army deploying with Henry. Like, my ideal army build is like 6 archers, whether that be mercenaries or crossbows, a good mixture. Because like the crossbow bolt armor piercing, and then the range of various longbow you can get, that's what I like. So even like 3-3 sometimes, just whatever you can get access to. I personally like 4 cavalry at a minimum, but cavalry is so potent and effective. Having 6 is nearly like arguably worth it. And then the rest, just whatever the best infantry you can get, dismounted heavies, make it 5 or 6, and then that's nearly the army build there. Obviously, you want to go with more infantry if you're dealing with a potential siege, and if you're fighting on the field more, you probably want more cavalry. But we have managed to engage the Scots here in this first little offensive. The problem is, in these older Total Wars, you can't toggle the trees, so you really can't see anything. We're going to have to be super careful here. We'll move up to the clearing, but already we can see my cavalry getting hit and caught, and potentially caught in the trees, but we just can't see. So, there's probably 5 or so settlements in the British Isles left, and then we're going to be hitting our long victory condition. We're getting super close. which is good. Once we hit our long victory conditions, I have to make a decision if I want to do more episodes. I'm definitely open to doing it. I'm definitely open to do it. Let me know in the comments, because we're still pretty early on, like turns wise. Because if we do manage to pull it off, which we could potentially here today, we haven't even hit the mid to late game of a Medieval 2 campaign. Like, we haven't done the Aztecs, the Tumurids, or the Mongols. And I don't even think we've got dismounted knights just yet. We haven't even hit the high tier fortresses, as we've rushed the Western world. And I think we've won a lot of clutch battles. Like, there's been some absolutely decisive victories where we've either toppled the kingdom's regime in like one fight. Like, that Battle of Toulouse was huge. We destroyed 2 full stacks with 1 and a bit, and that won us the war in France. We were able to gobble up the rest of the territory. Same with Milan as well. And from that, we've just really pushed on. We've managed to take out the general there, which is fantastic. So it's still about 65% in our favour. We are crafting and building a future emperor and a decent princeling here with Henry, hopefully. But depending on the result of this one, hopefully he can gain some command. Because we're not going to be able to choose his future successor. So we might need to sort of hold his hand and get him to level up a bit, because we want him to be a good and fantastic emperor. The last thing we want is a Holy Roman Empire succession crisis. Do you know what I mean? We don't want any generals rising up and thinking, hey, maybe I should be the Kaiser. Okay, so we've got some... Oh god, they just come so close. You can't even see, man, in the forests. Like, thickly forest battles actually put you at a disadvantage. You got to give it to the Scots. The Scots fighting in and around the lowlands, which are incredibly forested. Yeah, so I guess the Scots took York, and then the British were like, oh, I guess we should focus on our French territory. Because they did do well. They took Brittany and held Aquitaine and Normandy for quite some time. But it looks like the Holy Roman Empire invading in Britain is going to get our first major victory against the Scots. Yeah, now thinking about it, if they never had York, or they didn't have it when we invaded, Scotland actually might have been the largest and strongest kingdom on the British Isles. Because they had London and Nottingham, right? England. They didn't have Wales, but these fellas had York. Obviously, they've got Edinburgh, the Scots, and they would have definitely had Inverness. I don't think they would have lost that at all. So, yeah, they started off with 3. But we've had a really good victory here, knocking out a full stack in and around the lands of Yorkshire. And we should be able to now push up to York itself after securing and taking Nottingham. Ideally, what we could do is, once the British Isles is fully secure, we could convert all these regions to cities, because there's no need of having castles in the British Isles, really. If like our forward line is going to be elsewhere, like, it's never probably going to be invaded unless the Vikings or the Spanish get any ideas. Okay, back in Constantinople, Leopold has now rocked up. We will just need to keep an eye on the plague situation there, because the Emperor got infected with the good old bubonic, and now Leopold's there as well. How else are we doing? France looks fine for now. Okay, I guess Maximilian pushes for Wales. It's currently under siege by the Scots, you'd imagine. Okay, we're going to wait for more reinforcements here to push into York. We'll just get the... Oh, okay. I was going to say there's a little bit of an army there, but we're going to be able to surround them with von Saxony, and then we're going to be able to push into York as well. Good. Very limited resistance now, as we move on into try and seize York. Oh my god, sorry. Excuse me, that came out of nowhere. From the Scots. Couldn't see. Right. It's getting to that time in Australia where we're getting into winter. The football's back. I'm loving it. But it's awfully cold. Footy, I mean, like AFL. Not your soccers of the world. But yeah. Not good. Summer's gone. Von Wolfsburg. I kind of like some of these names that pop on up. Alright, so we're currently besieging out Nicaea. Oh, there's a fair few family members in there. Huh. 3. That's not good for them. That does not bode well for the Byzantines. Alright. And we'll replenish and repair. The plague is gone with the Emperor, which is good. We're sitting at 38 regions, so we only need 7 more. That's what I was saying. Like, we've still got a fair few more territories. Oh, what? In the British Isles, like, the Portuguese have taken it. You've got to be kidding me. I thought that'd be the Scottish. We didn't have line of sight in the fog of war. Because now we're going to have to go to war against Portugal. We can't ever leave the British Isles with a Portuguese border state with us. We have unlocked some better quality spearmen now. So we're actually heading into the mid-tier slightly. Oh, that's annoying. I'm going to have to build a garrison down in Toulouse, or build a bit more of a military presence, because you forget that they have Pamplona, and they do border us down there. Oh no, Prince Alfonso's there. Okay, so we can get some mercenaries here. Pretty decent pool. Armenian and Alan cavalry. Emperor Alexios is further south. Oh, so we managed to actually escape there, crossing the Dardanelles. Okay. Well, let's give chase. Because we've already taken out a fair few generals already. Oh my god. Look how much of a superior commander he is compared to Emperor Heinrich. We've got the Battle of the Emperors here in Anatolia. Alright, let's play this one against the Byzantines, as they look to regain their position and get just sort of reconsolidate as well after losing Nicaea.
In war, there's nothing so becoming as valor. Fear is not an impediment to bravery, for any man in battle without some fear is simple. To be brave is to go forward, to face the enemy, to beat him, no matter how frightened. That is why we will go forwards as good servants of the Empire. Our foes, the foul Byzantines, cannot be trusted by plain-speaking Germans. Keep your wits about you, men. Strike as soon as the opportunity presents. With God's good graces, we shall strike them down. With God's good graces, we shall strike down a quarter of our enemy's army today. Courage will be our watchword. Despair theirs. I see the foe dare not fight us man to man like decent Germans would do.
Okay, you heard the Emperor. Let's get stuck into the foul Byzantines. Alright, so... Oh god, we haven't got much infantry for this one. 5 is better than... It's like bare minimum. Okay, we've got a lot of cavalry though. So we're going to be able to use those Armenian and Alan mercenaries from the get-go. Luckily we've got a bunch of cavalry actually. In hindsight, it was probably really well recruiting those. As the Byzantine roster pretty early on, you don't have... Well, it's mostly just skirmish cav and cavalry that they rely on. Their eastern roster more so, because it takes a while for the Byzantines to get their Greek flamethrowers and heavier infantry and cataphracts and Scutari swordsmen and whatnot. But here are the brave men of Armenia. Look at that. Incredibly armoured. Awesome to see. And the Byzantines have taken the high ground. Emperor Alexius, after seeing his sons getting taken out in multiple sieges, is now going to fight for the bitter end, from his perspective, for the Roman Empire, while the new Holy is charging up against him. Now, we're going to have to be a little bit careful here because they do have a ballista. The last thing I want is to get a rogue shot at my general. This is bound to happen if you've played Medieval 2 for years and years. There is a memory seared into my mind playing this game, 10? Maybe even 15 years ago. There was a rogue flaming catapult shot hit my English king, and I was absolutely devastated. I had this guy he must have been the second king, but he was an absolute conqueror. He conquered Jerusalem. It might have been Henry or Rufus. I can't remember exactly which one it was. But yeah, he was an absolute chat of a king. 6-star commander, teetering on 7, and was taken out by a rogue ballista shot that cut to him getting absolutely... The best way to describe him getting hit by that cannonball was incinerated. He got vaporized, and the shock on my face. It's like, sir, a general has been taken out. He's been killed, and I was gutted. I still remember that. So every time I see like catapults deployed by the enemy, I think, oh crikey, we're really going to have to close the distance and not let them fire at us with impunity, or wrap some cavalry around. Alright, on this right hand side we've had some cavalry getting engaged, and it looks like they're moving up some of their eastern Trebizond archers. So if we can catch some of them, that'll be good. They've got additional reinforcements coming in here. Army's slightly split. So if their main army group sitting back, but they do have some small units just trying to operate, rotate and gain some ground on their left and right flank. I'm going to advance as we want to try and get into striking range. Thankfully, our cavalry is really dominating the field and just mounting on the pressure to the Byzantines, because they might have to make a charge themselves. Oh good, we're actually engaging some of their Trebizond archers, but you got to be careful fighting Byzantine missile, because they can be quite resilient in their defense in melee. They've got some pretty decent armor and sword stats about them. They're not your trash archers that absolutely shit themselves if they ever get into combat, like some of our early archers, I'm not even gonna lie, or the archers you see in Western Europe. They've got a big old bow, and then all they've got is just a loincloth underneath. Very limited boiled leather loincloth. I'm being very hyperbolic. Hope you guys know I'm shit posting most of the time. Just talking absolute dross. I ramble. If you haven't noticed that in years, just ramble absolute nonsense. Okay, so we're about to get rid of these archers. The Emperor's actually trying to hold his infantry further back, which is not serving him well. He's going to get the charge off here, but we might be able to... Oh, we might be able to make a play for that general, but you've got to be careful charging on in. Because what did we have last time we engaged a strong Byzantine general? Like, I think we had 60, and then we had 80 cavalry, and we lost a lot of our Emperor's general's bodyguard and royal men. So we will have to be careful pushing into Emperor Alexios, who has fantastic command ability. You guys saw it as we entered. Just you're really going to have to watch out for that. Alright, let's throw everyone in. Send in the Armenians. Send in the Alans. And hopefully they can... I don't know. Unlock a victory for us. Get it? Allen key? I don't know. We've lost 20% of their 40. And the Byzantine infantry is now engaged my front line. I'm just literally grabbing all my cavalry here, which is a mixture of merchant militia. We've got some mailed knights. We've also got some Armenians, some Alans here as well. I don't even know if we're going to be able to win. We might be better off just going for the main army, because like we're losing so many trying to go after him. I don't even know if it's worth it. We might be better off just trying to win the day, routing like around. Ugh. Like the tick rate wasn't well. And this isn't being much better as well. We're going to lose all our cavalry in this one. The amount of morale and command bonuses the Byzantine Emperor is giving. Oh my god. Oh, we've won. We took him out. Oh, thank god. That was getting way too close. I just had to quickly, in a split-second decision there, swing my cavalry around to help, because I don't think my spearmen were going to do too well fighting in a long protracted battle there. But that's huge. We've managed to take out Emperor Alexios. And if we're lucky, that could very well be the end of the Byzantine Empire. When you sort of get to, especially around about turn 30, 40 in a campaign, if you can knock out 5 enemy generals from a faction, that's pretty damn close to nearly getting rid of their family tree. Like, what did we start off with? 5 or 6. So you get around about that mark. But a glorious victory. We've managed to snuff out a victory here for the Reich. The First Reich. Not the second or the third, the first. And we'll get rid of the remaining stragglers there. He's still Emperor Heinrich the Chivalrous, even though I've been so determined to switch him to Dread. Oh, okay, they've actually sailed out against me. 3-1. Prince Alfonso there. It's a 20-9. I think we'll auto-resolve this one. Would you believe it? Hungary's attacked. Okay, so Captain Vlad has moved into the region of Constantinople, and a jihad's been called on Baghdad. Alright, back over in England. Winter is now hit as we firmly march into Edinburgh. A small garrison there, but it shouldn't be no match to the stack and a half. Well, it's now probably about to be 3 as we bring in more Highland reserves. Oh, here we go. Look at that. 5,000. It's a 6,000 man battle against Prince Edmund. And Edinburgh will fall. And then they've got Inverness, which is probably going to be a harder battle to play if they get more units there than Edinburgh itself. We'll bring in more mercenaries as well, because I actually don't mind the Scottish mercenaries. It's just their main roster I'm a little bit critical of. Oh, check this out. I didn't even realise. The Emperor lost his second-born son, Leopold, died of the plague. Oh no, that was the whole... Oh, that was when the Byzantines had a bubonic problem there. Oh, luckily we didn't lose the Emperor, actually. Leopold, not the most significant son, as Sigismund has come of age, who's 16, the Emperor's third-born son. Yeah, he was sort of trailing behind his father. Second best son, wasn't trusted with Henry in the West. He would have been fighting in his father's retainer in Croatia against the Venetians, and obviously was in and around Greece, but mostly just known as a governor of Constantinople that managed to die of the plague. Hopefully his sons can sort of have a bit more stronger and renowned legacy, but we'll just have to see as we push into Inverness now to get rid of Prince Alexander. Yeah, all these are just clear-cut auto-resolves. We did the hard work against the Scots earlier in the fields of York. Now at turn 33, we can retrain in Inverness. They haven't been defeated, so they've got Ireland. Yeah, they do. So we're going to have to push into Dublin, which they've managed to take. Oh my gosh, that noise. Bloody train. Oh, we've actually been ambushed there. Oh, that's cringe. We're not going to win that one. That's annoying. Bloody Robin Hood here. Alright. So, we're trying to find where the Byzantines are. They actually don't have sort of this coastal territory here in Anatolia, which kind of surprises me. I've been given some money. They might have roads or something? No, they don't have roads either, because we've got a ship down here. We can see. They might have Cyprus. Or they might have some territory in Egypt, I don't know. Oh, well, actually, oh wow, that's a lot of movement there into roads. Okay. We've been building an army in Italy, because I haven't forgotten that we do need to obviously take Rome at some point, and most of my armies are really far away and stretched. So, particularly if we don't have any generals moving into Rome, we're going to need a couple of big armies. Venice still has Crete by the look of it, as the Emperor looks to secure Rhodes and its Colossus. Maybe he can bring it back. Oh wow, look at all these Teutonic Knights we've got here with Sigismund. Alright, back over in Ireland, we're going to be able to take Dublin, and then that should be the end of the Scots. We'll just phase that army out so we can attack the settlement easier. Oh, we might even not need to fight that one, because they might just be destroyed. Wow, 6,000 men of the Holy Roman Empire descend into the streets of Dublin. What an absolute piss-up that would be. As resistance is futile in Ireland, and Scotland has been defeated. Oh, and we've hit 45 regions controlled as well. Well, you know what that means. We have to take Rome. So we do have two armies here. Let's march on in. And let's declare war upon the papacy. Now, there doesn't seem to be a huge army there, which is a shame. I'd love to have the Siege of Rome, but if there's only like 2 units in there, might not be worth. Alright, welcome to the top of the turn, turn 38. Looks like the papacy hasn't reacted with an army, whereas the Pope, I want to fight him on the field of battle. If they've only got one territory, you might actually destroy them in one fell swoop. Actually, you know what, I just want to get these militia out and get the better spearmen in, and maybe even some of the cavalry as well, because they might take precedent in command. There we go. And, alright. So, look at that, dude. We outnumber them literally 25 to 1. Of course we're going to win that. And we've taken Rome. And we've won. We've had victory. Wow, what a campaign. You have won this game. All your people celebrate this victory. Would you like to continue and gain even greater glory? Sure, we'll continue for now, but we've gone out and hit the major objective that I set out to do within 38 turns as well. We've done tremendously well. Like, hitting the victory conditions early with the Holy Roman Empire is definitely doable. Just the way you naturally expand. Like, the city density in Western Europe is so much easier to get that 45 than it is, for example, in our Byzantine campaign. It probably took us double the time, but just because they're so closely clustered in, we're so intertwined, we've managed to hit our long victory conditions. So we've got 188 turns remaining, and we're still under the reign of our first emperor as well, who is now 58, Heinrich. So, unfortunately on that note, I have to end today's video here. Thank you very much for watching. I'm kind of in two minds. Would you guys like to see further episodes of this campaign? We could do a world conquest. My thinking is we've kind of... We're starting to get to the campaign where we're getting out of the early game. Because we're still only 38 turns in. We haven't hit the medium to late units. And look, even though we've smashed our long victory conditions, we haven't experienced the late game, which is always a lot of fun. A lot of people don't get to it because you can actually hit your victory conditions with some factions a lot earlier. Like if you're playing as like the Byzantines, Sicily, maybe even Poland or Russia, it takes quite a long time to get to those 45 regions just because there's so fair few like on the eastern side of the map compared to the west. But we've still got like the Timurids, the Mongols, and potentially even invasions and incursions into the New World, which we haven't done. So what I'm going to do is going to put a pin in the campaign. I'm going to ask you guys in the comments, would you like to see more episodes where we're probably just going to be steamrolling from now? We're definitely going to be snowballing, but we might actually have some pretty cool battles against some factions that are still built up. We still don't know how Spain looks. If the Spanish or Moors have taken a lot of territory, that might be a good couple wars. We've been betrayed by the Hungarians, so I might actually push into Poland and Hungary. And then we've got the Turks as well. I don't know how long they're going to be holding. Egypt, you would imagine, be quite built up. However, the Crusades have failed, so maybe we need to be the ones to do that. We haven't even gone on crusade. We're not going to be able to officially go on crusade because we got rid of the papacy. But there's still a lot more things to do. But if you're not interested in any of that jazz, what we could do is start a brand new campaign and just move on to another faction. I think, obviously, I guess we can list them off what I'm sort of open to do. My top 5 that I think I want to sort of do over the next weeks and months, regardless if we do more episodes of this, is I think we should play as England at some point. I think we should also play as Russia. I've never played as Russia before. I think we should play potentially as Spain as well. Maybe even Sicily, or maybe playing as Egypt or the Turks or the Ottomans, essentially. That'd be interesting. But anyway, thank you very much for watching episode 6. We've completed our long victory conditions. Let me know if you would like to see more episodes of this, or alternatively, moving on to another campaign. Thanks guys for watching. Got to play the outro now. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Unfortunately, it's time to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Check out my social media links in the description below if you want to stay connected with me. I also want to say thank you to this month's patrons and channel members: Victor K, Sebastian C, Jordan K, Caesar L, Brian S, Tao, Lion B, Kyle P, Tom C, and White P. My name has been Simpzy. Much love from Australia. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.